welcome to the United Stand. This is the Jose Mourinho. No. Those days are gone, and thank God they are, sir. It's the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction for the Bournemouth game. How are you all feeling? Some shock revelations from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this morning. And what I would say is, look, in many ways, I'll keep saying this, when there are things that we're not too happy about, this is quite a good thing, because not everything in the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer Manchester United manager's garden is going to be rosy. He will do things that you go, but I love you, Ole, why are you doing that? And coming out and saying that Antonio Valencia is his captain, and he's had a few injury problems, but he'll be back and wearing the armband soon, to some people, that's a bit of sick in your mouth. But this, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said himself, it's easy when you're a fan. The reality's different when you're the manager, because you can't do everything that you think you can do when you're looking outside, and I think that's quite telling. So Antonio Valencia will be Manchester United captain. Look, to me, I'm not going to be a hypocrite on that, and I don't know what you lot think. There's some big things that he said today that are massively, massively positive, and that's what I want to focus on. But I'm not going to shy away from things that I don't agree with as a fan, because that's being a fan. If you believe and if you're 100% behind everything that a manager does, then I think you're going to find your football fanship a little bit dull at times. The whole joy of football is having your own opinion, and I don't agree with Antonio Valencia as Manchester United captain. He struggles with the language. He's very, very quiet. And he shouldn't be our right back. And end of conversation. Let's talk about something else. It really is that simple. He definitely struggles with the language. He's way too quiet on the pitch, and he's not good enough anyway. Solskjaer said that Valencia is one of the best right backs in Europe. No, he's not. He simply is not. If you've been watching him week in, week out for the last 18 months, he's definitely not the best right back in the club. Delot is better, and I would argue that Ashley Young's better. And you could even make a case for Darmian. So he shouldn't be our right back. And on top of that, he shouldn't be anywhere near the captaincy either. So that is my opinion on it. But fair play, Solskjaer has come out and he's made his decision about that. It concerns me. I think we need to... What did I say last night? There is deadwood in this club that needs to be removed so that we can start moving forward as a club. And Ole himself said that, look, he said that there are problems still here to solve. We're sixth for a reason. The consistency is the problem, and we don't keep enough clean sheets. He's aware of the problems like we are, but those problems, for me, will not be eradicated until we start moving out people like Phil Jones, Antonio Valencia, Ashley Young, Marouane Fellaini. They're the sort of players that, they're not terrible players, but as I said last night, they keep taking other people's places that are going to make us a better club. Like, Delot may not be ready yet, but keep playing him and he will become better than Valencia in a matter of weeks. This is what happened with Luke Shaw and Ashley Young. Last season, we were playing Young every week. He was doing an okay job. You bring Luke Shaw in, and in a matter of weeks, he's comfortably better than Young, and we've got a better solution. That's what we should be happening at right back. Delot should be playing every week now, and we'll soon forget people like Valencia and Young, and that's what we should do. But that's the thing that I wanted to get out of the way, because that's the negative thing for me. The Pogba should be captain, says Joe Stevos. There's loads to talk about. Please do drop a like on the video. It's an early start. I've not even had my bloody coffee yet, so it's a very early start for this I'm even saying Jose Mourinho for this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference, but the rest of it is pretty positive. He said there's not been much training since the game on Boxing Day. In fact, nobody's trained since Boxing Day, because Boxing Day was 2 days ago. They're all back in for training today, so he needs to reassess. On the injury front, Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez both did light training yesterday. You'll have seen the videos from Alexis Sanchez. I think that's a real positive. He was asked about why they've struggled and under the previous manager and what he's going to do to make them better, which I'll talk about in a minute. McTominay and Rojo are going to be back very soon. They won't be back for Bournemouth, but they'll be back soon. Chris Smalling, probably not going to be back till the Spurs games. That's what he said. He was asked directly about Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, especially Alexis Sanchez. What does he think the problem has been with Alexis Sanchez, considering he's been at the club 8 months and it's been very, very uninspiring? He said, I genuinely don't know. I don't know. We've got a great squad, but that's when he mentioned it's easy to be a fan, and the reality when you're the manager is very different. But very focused on the fact that we've got a good squad. What he did say is, look, if you've got Lukaku, Sanchez, Martial, Rashford, Mata, Jesse, that's 6 players that potentially are only going to play in 3 positions. And it's his job to keep people motivated. And the reality of that is, that they will be given opportunities. And that's something that he really touched on as well when he was asked about Paul Pogba And can he get out of Lukaku and Sanchez what he's got out of Pogba, because he's revolutionised Paul Pogba? And Ollie was very quick to say, well, no, I haven't done that. That's the player. It's down to the player. I can't make a player go and play well on the pitch. I can do certain things behind closed doors, but it's down to the player on there. He says, my mentality is freedom of expression, but the player have got to go and express themselves. And then there was an absolutely superb bit, an absolutely brilliant bit, where he said, I've come into this club, we've had a couple of results, there's still lots I want to improve. It's very hard for me to come in and make tactical changes in a week. That's not what I'm able to do. I can't come in and change the club tactically in a week. It's going to take a long period of time to do that. But what I've been brought in here is to manage people, and that's what I can do. Discussions with each individual player, find out what the issues are, make them feel better. That's what I'm here to do over the next few months, and that's what I've been here to do over the last week. And I think that's spot on. Again, we spoke about this yesterday. It's the people management that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is bringing to Manchester United. Tactically, it's going to take time. But the improvement in the players on the pitch and their persona is totally down to Ollie. And also, I think he's simple tactics like when you get the ball, don't take too many touches, press, move the game forward. But the people skills side of thing that we know that Mourinho was totally lacking on because he distanced himself and was a dictator. Solskjaer is the other way. He will call a player into the office. I'm sure he's called in every player into the office so far and made them feel part of what the journey is going to be. So that, for me, is very, very positive as well. And in relation to the problems at the club and people like Lukaku and what's going on going forward, he said, I want tired players. I want to build a team around people like Paul Pogba, and I want players to be coming off the pitch tired. And I think that was a very good point as well, because when you watch Manchester United, especially over this first 4 months of the season, have we seen players coming off the pitch exhausted? I don't think we have. And Ollie said, look, there are gaps between games. You should be walking off that pitch absolutely exhausted. And I think we've seen that in the last 2 games. The players have been exhausted. In fact, I think they've been exhausted around the 70-minute mark, and they've faded in the last 20 minutes because their fitness levels, as I've spoken about loads before, have started to drop off. So that's something that Solskjaer will bring in to the club as well. He wants his players tired. He wants them running through brick walls like Jose did, to be fair, but he wants them running through brick walls in a different way. He wants them to literally run through the brick wall, not just stand next to it and try and form a wall. We're going to run through the brick wall and we're going to press people, which is really, really good. Also spoke about youth. I think a lot of you are going to love that. I mean, Mbuna says United are not fit enough at the moment, and I think you're 100% right. We are struggling with the fitness side of things. Please do drop a like on the video this morning. It's a very early video for the United stand, so but we don't want to miss out. Gungshi, that's exactly why, because they're all in bloody bed, aren't they? But yeah, he spoke about the youth, and I really liked this question because he said, look, if you're good enough, you're old enough, which is Sir Matt Busby, and that's great. And Ollie knows this anyway. I mean, Solskjaer knows this. He's been at the club. He played at the club for years and years and years. He knows what it's all about. And this was obviously in reference to Angel Gomez getting 10 minutes. And he said, look, this is what we want to do. This is what the club should do. It's about those top talents in the youth setup, whether they're under 18, 19, 20, whatever, even 16, it's about them knowing there's a path to the first team. And maybe, and this is not what Solskjaer said, but I'm saying this, maybe over the last couple of years, that path to the first team, certainly since Van Gaal left, has been shut. Players have made it, but you've almost got to be, it's like going on a fairground. Getting into United first team, if you're a youth player at Manchester United, is a bit like going to the fairground when they've got height restriction. If you're under 6'2", doesn't matter how good you are, you weren't going to get in the first team. And that's why Scott McTominay really has been the only player that's made it, because he's a giant. People under that height restriction haven't made it. I think that's over now. I think Solskjaer is like, look, I'm probably, and it's how symbolic to take the smallest player from the youth setup that's ready, Angel Gomez, and get him in the team as his first youth player, which is great. And he said there's 3 players in the around the 18 mark who are absolutely ready. They're knocking on the door. They are ready to get into the first team, and there's a few more as well. And we can all predict who those 3 are. Angel Gomez, Mason Greenwood, Tahith Chong is who I would hope it is, because I believe that they're ready as well. And I look to that Reading game, really. I don't think we'll see much of them against Bournemouth or Newcastle, because they're a step up. Both those games are a step up from Cardiff and Huddersfield. I mean, Bournemouth, we'll be doing the preview at 1 o'clock. They're going through, they're not getting the results that they probably were earlier on, but maybe the fatigue of the season is starting to impact a smaller squad now. But for our point of view, if you're looking for that youth, I think Reading next Saturday lunchtime is going to be a good game, and I think that's where we'll see them. Look, I'm very happy about that. I want to see that, and it's just another. I can take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer putting Valencia as his captain if he's going to do all the other good stuff, because I've been following United and following football for long enough to know that there is no complete manager. There is no perfect manager. And I know a lot of you are saying Sir Alex Ferguson. Well, if you lived the Sir Alex Ferguson years, there was a lot of times when he made team selections that you didn't agree with. There was a lot of times where things happened that you didn't agree with. In around 2005, 2006, a lot of United fans wanted him sacked. Everyone talks about the late 80s where he nearly got the sack and the Tara Fergie sign. But if you look at 2005, 2006, it was a transition. We had a young Rooney and a young Ronaldo. I think we won the Carabao Cup or whatever it was called, but we were nowhere near the league, and he was under a lot of pressure. It doesn't matter who your manager is, and we've had the greatest manager in sports history. They will still do things that you don't agree with, and I just think Solskjaer and the Valencia thing, I don't agree with it, but I still think he's brilliant for the club, and as I say, I quite enjoy the fact that there will be things like the Phil Jones selection that I just think, why? But they're nobody's perfect, and I think that's the really important thing. Who do you think will sign in January, says Mika? If you didn't see the video last night, do give it a watch. Koulibaly and Alderweireld, big developments with those. The video is on the homepage of the United Stand YouTube page. Give it a watch about transfers. We went in depth into that last night. I want Greenwood to start versus Reading, says Pankaj. I think that will happen. I just want to make sure that I've covered everything that needs to be covered from what Ollie said. We're sixth for a reason. I'll come back to that because that's good. Valencia captain. I want tired players. I want to build a team around Pogba. But yeah, that's the most. There's a couple of things he said to me, not to me personally, but there's a couple of things that he said that I really, really did like. And the biggest one for me was there's still problems here. We're sixth for a reason. The consistency is obviously a problem, and there's no clean sheets. And I'm very, very keen to address that and keep that going. That we are in a honeymoon period. He said himself we're going to lose a game, which some people tell, well, that's a bit negative. But Ollie's the opposite of negative. But he's right, we will lose a game. We're not going to win every single game. We're not going to go unbeaten until May. We're not good enough. We're good enough to be in the top four, but we're not good enough to be in a title race. Even with Ollie and all the positivity and Pogba improved, that team's not good enough to win the title. It's not good enough. He might be able to beat Liverpool at Old Trafford when we play them. We might be able to beat City at Old Trafford, and I hope that we do. But we're not good enough. We're not Spurs. I'm looking forward to that Spurs game. We're not City and we're not Liverpool. We're not at that level. We need to ship players out. We need to ship some players in. But we are good enough to go for top four. I think that's what we're all hoping for. And Solskjaer himself says, we are going to lose games and then the smiles will disappear, and it's how we react to that. And that's very important. There is a honeymoon period with the new manager. And I like the way that he highlighted the problems, that, consistency is United's problem. And consistency has been United's problem, not just under Mourinho. I think we will be talking about Mourinho for a few weeks and months because he's the last manager, and it happened with Van Gaal with Mourinho, and it happened with Moyes with Van Gaal. That will happen. But when you look, I think you've got to look, I think it's a grown-up and mature approach to look at United in a more, since Sir Alex. And since Sir Alex, we've been very inconsistent. And that's something that needs to be addressed, that Ollie's identified. Clean sheets this season has been a bloody nightmare. An absolute nightmare. I mean, best goalkeeper in the world, can't keep a clean sheet. That needs to stop. Last two games, he said we've conceded from set pieces. We need to improve on that. He's right. So, lots and lots to be improved, and I think that's the way forward. But the headlines really are that Valencia will be Ollie's captain and his right back when he is fit. And that could happen as soon as Sunday. Sanchez and Lukaku should be back for Sunday, which is exciting. I'm not excited about Lukaku coming back. I think he's a bench player now. I think the way he plays football doesn't fit in with the way we want to play football. But Alexis Sanchez could be and should be like a new signing, and he looks hungry. And I think we'll see a different Sanchez hopefully as well, which is very exciting. And that consistency is very important, and Solskjaer is aware of it. We've got to get through the next two games with another 6 points. We've got to keep the pressure on Arsenal and Chelsea ahead of us, and we've got to keep chipping away. I think if we were to drop points at Newcastle or against Bournemouth on Sunday, then reality will start to bite that top four is probably going to be impossible. We've got to keep winning games, and I look at that Spurs game and I think that's got to be the first game that we think about dropping points in. We've got to beat Bournemouth and Newcastle. That's what it's all about. Sanchez at CAM says Ken Itchy. I mean, my ideal front three, I don't know what you lot think, is Rashford up front with Martial on the left and Sanchez off the right, but Sanchez playing like Lingard did, where Lingard is very, very central. Yes, he's sort of the right-sided attacker, but he comes inside very, very, very regularly. That's what I would like to see. But Lingard's doing well at the moment, so that's exciting for me. Lukaku will definitely get a chance. Dia says he deserves a chance like every player. He'll get a chance, but my prediction with Lukaku is his build-up play is atrocious. But everybody deserves a chance. Will Lingard be a bench player because Sanchez is back? Golden Boy 1. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer likes Lingard because he had him in the reserve teams when he was the reserve team coach a few years ago. He clearly likes Valencia, he clearly likes Phil Jones, and he clearly likes Lingard. So I think we're going to see a lot of them in the first team. I've always been very consistent about that. If you play those three players and if you play Fellaini regularly, you'll struggle for top four. And I'm going to be very consistent about that. I think what Solskjaer's done is great. I think he's the right man, but maybe this is why we need a Pochettino or a Zidane who come in with no preconceptions about, I like Phil Jones, I like Jesse Lingard, I like Antonio Valencia. For me, they're, apart from Jesse Lingard, who I do like, Phil Jones, Valencia, they're the deadwood that need to go. They need to go. And we're not going to move forward as a club, as a title challenging club, until we remove players like that. But in the short term, I think he's going for experience. I think he's going for what he knows. And I think we will see a lot of Jesse. What if Ollie improves Lukaku's first touch? Probably similar levels as, say, a Rashford, says Rajashi. I don't think Lukaku will ever be a Rashford. His body physics are not Rashford. Rashford can spin and turn and take people on. Lukaku's he's too heavy in the touch, and I'm not even talking about his physique. His mannerisms on the football are too clunky. He's never going to be what Rashford can be. Rashford can be quick. He's got the finesse, he's got the technique. Lukaku's never going to have that. His body movement is too slow on the ball. He will never do that. But he can improve. He can certainly improve. Anyway, we've got the press conference reaction done for you there. Please do drop a like on the video and give us your thoughts, especially on the Valencia thing. And also 1 o'clock, Bournemouth preview. I'll see you live for that. And then 8 o'clock tonight, Friday Night Live, bit laid back, a lot more interaction, more of a Q&A. Yes, please do drop a like on the video, and I'll see you at 1 o'clock for the preview for the Bournemouth game. Thanks everyone for watching.